obviously we've talked about this before. This is a classic Trump initiative. He comes in like a wrecking ball. He does a bunch of fuck shit. Everybody hates it. Everyone starts speculating that people are finally going to leave the Trump camp. People are finally going to leave the Trump cult. They never do. Okay. Ken Paxton is another great example of this. John Cornyn has been a lifelong Republican, been around since George W. Bush, 20 years in service, well-respected career politician for the Republican Party. And now he got ousted by a psychopath. I gave you the rundown on Ken Paxton's background and all of the things that he has done in Texas that has actually drawn ire not only from the Democrats in the state, but certainly even from the Republicans in the state. Ken Paxton had numerous issues, numerous investigations, basically like a cockroach. He just keeps somehow surviving all of these different scandals. He's an immensely corrupt person, so perfect for the Trump administration. And it's very funny that he is technically, from the perspective of Talarico heads, the best guy to defeat. Much easier to defeat than even Cornyn is, right? So a lot of people are excited. A lot of people are excited. And right off the rip, there's a new poll that came out, Texas poll, that we're going to be taking a look at. This is from a pro-Talarico group. James Talarico at 45%, Ken Paxton at 38%. Net favorabilities for Talarico is at +6, and for Paxton it's -16. Now, does that even matter? Does that even matter? I don't know. I'm not going to sit here and tell you, Blegs, this is going to happen. And the reason for why I won't tell you that is for two reasons, okay? There's two reasons. One, Talarico has a lot of majority Democrats style centrist think tanks in his corner, and those guys know exactly how to seize defeat from the jaws of victory, okay? They are the best at that. So he already has some of the worst consultants backing his candidacy. So that's most likely going to be a problem for him anyway, okay? So that's number one. Number two, I will never discount how insane Republicans are, okay? What normal people look at in horror, or what normal people can see as a cause of celebration, with this horribly bad, horribly unpopular candidate that the Republicans excitedly voted for, Ken Paxton. What normal people might consider to be a mentally ill move to make by the voters in Texas, Texas voters might think is great, actually. Okay? Texas voters look at that and go, no, that's my guy. I want someone with a shit ton of scandals. Why is everyone suddenly freaking out over Paxton calling Talarico gay when there's no evidence so far that it's worked, no evidence that it will work, and it hasn't led a poll in 5 months? Voters have been saying over and over again that they are tired of culture war, bullshit politics, and overwhelmingly prioritize cost of living issues. How is this supposed to be some sort of slam dunk strategy at all? This is also crazy revisionist history about Warnock law. They couldn't go 2 seconds without calling him a radical liberal. Yeah. Now, of course, centrist Democrats are not even satisfied with Talarico, who I think is too centrist for my taste. Some of them have also been critical of Talarico, being like, or Republicans have been critical of Talarico, saying like, oh, dude, it's in the rap. He's a vegan. He's a homosexual vegan who loves transgenders. Okay. You guys already know what my assessment of the situation is. When they try to hit you with that, gay shit, all you have to do is, we're not having a conversation about this. We're having a conversation about the unprecedented cost of living crisis that we're going through, worsened by the Trump administration. I'm here to fix that. I'm here to make things cheaper. You can chirp about transgenders all day, every day. I'm here to chirp about, making groceries cheaper, making your gas cheaper. Okay. More money in your pocket. It's the method that Abdul also deployed perfectly in the Fox News conversation. It's undefeated. And now you don't even need to say it's untested, right? It was the Zoran method and it worked But people will say, oh, that was just New York. New York is woke and gay anyway. But to a certain degree, it's worked with Graham Plattner in Maine, and it worked with Chris Rabb as well. Again, deep blue district regardless. But I do think it will work in Texas for Talarico as well. Although, I will say, Texas is the one area where I don't know if it will work that well, okay? I think you have better shot at winning with a kitchen table issue focused candidacy that just straight up tells you what the policies are and how a politician will improve your lives, how a candidate will improve your lives in places like Montana, even in Nebraska. I think you'll have an easier shot in places like that as opposed to Texas and Florida. Maybe I'm crazy, but I'm crazy enough to recognize how crazy the Republicans are and how crazy the independents are in these places. But we'll see. I think this will be a good testing ground for Talarico if he doesn't fuck this up, which he still can. Remember, first factor always is centrist Democrats love losing. They love taking an easy victory and flipping it around and turning it into a defeat. That's number one. Number two, Republicans are fucking batshit crazy. And the more crazy their candidates are, the more invested they might be. So just remember that. These are unpredictable races for that reason. Okay? Sorry to the Texans in the chat. Y'all are out of fucking control, okay? You live with them, so you know better than I do. They are insane. They're nutty. They're totally nutty. However, I do think the antidote to that nuttiness is left populism. Okay? Yeah. Stephen Miller, the Democrats made history in Texas by nominating their first transgender Senate candidate. Great. Yeah. Shut up, you ugly fuck. Okay, Democrats, you win this round. If you keep this energy in the midterms, if the national party presents itself like this, great. Okay? This requires a little bit of backbone, though. You also need actual policies. Like you need a decipherable, discernible policy platform that is almost exclusively communicating how you are going to materially improve the working class's lives. Okay, so that's important. Do not scroll down. Okay. So that's important to remember here, chatters. You need something tangible, some meat that people can latch on to. Medicare for All is a great example of this, which Talarico is not on board with, unfortunately. Did I miss something? I thought Talarico was progressive, or was he always a centrist? He's been wishy-washy, and that's part of the reason why I was like a little hot and cold on him. I did prefer him over Jasmine Crockett, but at the end of the day, I mean, I certainly prefer him over Ken Paxton or John Cornyn, but as a candidate overall, I think he's not there. He plays the middle of the road quite frequently. If you remember, his opening salvo was about, it's not left, it's not right, it's up versus down. All that stuff is good. All that stuff is great. Problem is, you have to have policies associated with that movement, right? You can't just fucking vaguely gesture to how you're going to improve people's lives, because I think that gives you more credibility, right? Another area of credibility is obviously Israel. It's a big litmus test for a lot of people. And a problem with James Talarico on the Israel front is he's not an anti-Zionist. He's not an anti-Zionist at all. He has even had his platform on Israel was almost identical to Jasmine Crockett's, although Jasmine Crockett was far worse than he was on communicating on this issue. And Jasmine Crockett has done stuff since then that obviously solidified that she is super pro-Israel anyway. But even when Jasmine Crockett and Talarico were running up against one another in that matchup, Talarico basically barely looked better on the issue of Israel because he was capable of communicating with empathy, whereas Jasmine Crockett's statements on Israel were unbelievably it was just utterly devoid of empathy, right? So that was another thing that was at least somewhat frustrating for me. But yeah, Talarico is somewhat of an unknown for me. But it did work. Yeah, 44% of Talarico voters said his criticism of Israel was important to them and swayed their vote for him. Over 1 in 5 voters, 22% said reducing support for Israel was a top 3 factor in their vote, while just 2% said same for increasing or maintaining support for Israel. Reducing support for Israel will also be a factor in the November general election. 15% of Democratic primary voters say they would not vote in November if the Democratic nominee shares an identical platform of unconditional support for Israel as the Republican candidate. Like, obviously, there's a lot of other factors at play here, but Israel is singularly important for a lot of people. But beyond that, it's a very good litmus test for measuring whether a candidate is going to be responsive to the needs of the population, the needs of the Democratic base, or the needs of corporations and foreign lobbies, right? I think that's how a lot of people view it. I see ourselves, once again, having to deal with the same exact fucking issue. I mean, he's not already against Israel if he changed. Seems just lip service to win this election. No, he is. He is against Israel. He's critical of Israel, but not to the degree that I think is good enough. I don't think he's as sincere as he could be. And I don't think I'm being extra. I don't think I'm being extra critical of Talarico in an unnecessary way. I think this is a real weakness in his messaging and in his campaign.
I've always said that our southern border should be like our front porch. There should be a welcome mat and a lock on the door, meaning we can both.
Like, he's very good at this stuff. This is a very good way to communicate on this issue in Texas, right? Like, he's not saying, we want our open, porous borders or anything like that. I think this is a very good way to talk about, immigration in the country, right? It's good. It's appealing to liberals. It's appealing to independents. Again, he has a very empathetic communication strategy on this stuff.
With welcome immigrants who want to come here and.
Like, which message is more appealing, right? You always got to look at this. Like, match this up with like what Ken Paxton says. Where Ken Paxton is like, we gotta shoot anyone that looks Mexican with a shotgun in the face. Which message is more appealing to the Texas voters? And honestly, I don't know the answer. Okay, I don't fucking know the answer to that question. And I'm going to be honest with you. I don't want to know the answer to that question, okay? Because it's scary. It's scary to think about what people perceive as good messaging in the state of Texas.
Live the American dream, who want to contribute to our economy.
Half the people that are championing that, shoot every Mexican with a shotgun message are Mexican themselves. This is Texas. Welcome to the state of Texas. Okay.
Economy, who want to contribute to our communities, make us richer and stronger, as immigrants have always done throughout American history. And we can keep out people who mean to do us harm. We can know who's trying to come into our country. We can have an orderly, sane immigration system that keeps us all safe, that promotes public safety. Just like you do at your own home. Many people, especially in Texas, we're hospitable. We're the friendly state in Texas.
We'll
you? Give a neighbor the shirt off.
Is that the... Okay. I didn't know. I was thinking differently about it. Maybe I'm just a fucking out of touch elite, bi-coastal elite libtard. But because I'll tell you this much, okay? Texas has some wonderful people, as does every state, okay? But Texas also has some dog shit ass dudes in it, okay? Some really fucking horrible monsters. Now, that's the same in every state. But I usually measure a state by my own personal my own personal experience in it. Okay, and sometimes the dog shit ass people kind of are a little bit too overwhelming. Okay. Yeah, you look at the per capita, and I don't know who wins that battle.
Our back, but we also have a right to know who's coming into our home. We have a right to know why they're there and what their intentions are. We can be both hospitable and keep everybody safe at the same time. Our opponents don't want people to know that you can do both because they rely on using this issue of immigration to grandstand, to say that it's a choice between public safety and welcoming immigrants. And the truth is that has always been a false choice throughout American history. And we need leaders who are going to do both, secure the border and create a pathway to citizenship for the folks who have been here for a long time and who have been contributing to this country.
Stay away. It's seriously dangerous legally and physically. This is where this fash wave was born. Prediction. They will straight up buy votes if they have to, and they have the resources to do so. Yeah, I don't have a lot of confidence in any Republican leaving the cult in any way, shape, or form. I'll be honest with you. And I think part of that is because I've seen what the midterms look like for the Republican Party. Maybe the general is going to be different. And obviously, this is a fluid situation regardless, because every damn day, Israel's approval ratings are going down. And because Trump has seemingly put us in this double suicide pact with Israel, Trump's approval ratings go down as well. Now, we're in the vanguard, right? Any dip in Trump's approval rating from this point on is actually eating away at his base, at his most loyal fans, okay? Directly into the cult. So if we go from like going from 40% to 30% is nowhere near as significant of a dip as it is to go from 30% to 29%, 30% to 28%. At that point, we're in oh boy territory. Because that means that even the cultists are just like, I'm done. I can't deal with this anymore. Fuck this guy. That's when we arrive at new grounds, a turning point where the number of people that are getting bored and trying to shoot the president increase alarmingly, because it's all former fans of his, and they all have the guns and they all have the intensity, right? I'm not saying this is a good thing. I'm not saying that at all. Okay. I'm just observing reality, looking at the numbers, looking at the amount of former Trump fans that have tried to kill him unsuccessfully, and assuming that once that cult starts tipping, once there's people that start leaving the cult, going from 30% to 28%, that 2% is going to be extra wild. I'm a numbers guy, okay? I'm going to chat GPT it. I'm going to grok it.
Same question. What conditions, if any, should be placed on U.S. military aid to Israel?
This was his final answer on conditioning aid and restricting weapons transfers to Israel. Let's take a look at what he had to say here.
60 seconds.
As an educator who has fought for children, seeing what's happening in Gaza makes me sick to my stomach. I quoted a theologian the other day who said, I screamed at God for the starving children until I realized the starving children was God screaming at me. God is screaming at all of us in Gaza as we speak.
Like, do you see what I'm saying? He's very good. He's very good. But then he'll follow it up with wishy-washy, middle-of-the-road policy. This is why I said he absolutely had a messaging advantage over Jasmine Crockett. He had a messaging advantage over Jasmine Crockett, but on the policy front, their policies were too close for comfort.
Yes, Israel has a right to defend its people, certainly after October 7th, the deadliest day for the Jewish people since
spoke too soon.
The Holocaust. But Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu does not have the right to wage war against civilians. He does not have the right to restrict aid. He does not have the right to use famine or collective punishment. as tactics in that effort. And so I have said that if I'm in the United States Senate, I will use every bit of this country's financial and diplomatic leverage to end the death and destruction in Gaza, which means banning offensive weapons to the Netanyahu government and ensuring that we have candidates.
Yeah, he's doing, it's a bait and switch. He's not doing the defensive weapons. He's not doing defensive weapons, right? But this was earlier too. Now there's a new litmus test. So who knows? Isn't that the same as the Bernie posture? To a certain degree, yes. But I don't know if they've asked Bernie Sanders recently, but I suspect that he's also probably been forced to just like push for defensive weapons transfers to be shut off as well. Like the new Prague statement on Israel is, oh, we have to cut off money. We have to stop giving them money so they can purchase our weapons. If they want to purchase it on their own, they can purchase it on their own. Our position on the anti-Zionist side has always been, obviously, and this is, there's levels to it, but the most permissible thing that we demand is an embargo, right? To shut off all weapons transfers, no defensive, no offensive weapons, and to obviously then, punish Israel, hold Israel accountable for war crimes, for genocide, and to restrain Israel, right? BDS is also the other floor here on the popular front on what people can do on their own outside of what politicians are pushing for. So it's definitely beyond. It's definitely beyond what AOC has set as the new floor, which is to stop giving financial aid to Israel so they can easily purchase American weapons. Because right now that's what we're doing. We're giving Israel, with the Obama Memorandum of Understanding, $3.8 billion a year in just straight up cash so they can come back and purchase our weapons that we're designing for Israel, right? The Tamir interceptors that are a part of the Iron Dome defense systems. The missiles that they use is a collaborative development project between the American state and the Israeli state. And we give Israel $3.8 billion a year for a decade with Obama's Memorandum of Understanding right now so they can use that money to purchase defensive weapons as they claim it. Now, of course, there's no moral or really military distinction between defensive and offensive weapons because these funds are fungible, right? $3.8 billion that you receive in financial aid to purchase American defensive weapons is $3.8 additional billion that you have to spend on offensive weapons. The fact that we are also funding Israel's defense allows Israel to be more belligerent. That's precisely the reason why no one ever makes an argument to give defensive weapons or any aid to Russia or to Iran or to any other country, really, right? Because that would be silly. It's the equivalent of demanding that Nazi Germany receive anti-aircraft battery systems while we're doing the bombing of Dresden, right? Because there's civilians there. There's civilians living in Nazi Germany as well. No one would make that argument. That would be a fucking stupid ass argument to make. So here he is, the racist. Wait, come on. Don't ban that guy. I want to know, or that lady. You're a fucking bellend cocksucker. We got a Brit. Am I racist towards the British? Is that what you're saying? Clip from new interview with Talarico on CBS. Take a look at ZBS.
Handful of highlights of things you've said in the past, and I wanted to give you an opportunity.
Oh, this is him probably going to back away from woke 1.0 statements that he's made. Every woke politician has to get their lashings, when they were doing Wakanda posting, right? 2020 peak woke. Any politician to the left of like Nancy Pelosi has had, Nancy Pelosi's even done that with the kente cloth kneeling, Every politician has to receive their lashings for their woke crimes. Fuck you! What you fucking mean, lad? What's your problem then? Fucking hell. You're a fucking bellend cocksucker. New Paxton attack ad?
This is not.
Wait, what is this? New ad. James Talarico is a threat to everything we hold dear. This is Texas. We will fight to protect it.
This is Texas. This is not.
There are many more than 2 biological sexes. In fact, there are 6.
This is Texas. This is not.
The American flag.
Wait. This is Texas? What does this mean? It's just a woman wearing a cowboy hat in front of a flag that is hanging off of a tree branch? What is, I'm more confused. What is Texas? This ad raises a lot of questions about what Texas is that it seeks to answer. Okay? Yeah, this is Texas, you fucking idiot. Goddamn libtard. You woke homosexual. Yeah. The first thing that they said, this is Texas, is a fat guy in a hard hat. That was awesome. This is Texas. Fat guy in a hard hat. A woman wearing a bandana around her neck and a cowboy hat.
This is not.
The American flag is such a complicated symbol for most of us.
This is Texas. This is not.
They're going to call me a radical leftist.
This is Texas. This is not.
Something that you love that's not family or friends.
I love, I'm just saying this because it's on my mind, the trans children.
This.
That line is so crazy, by the way. I'm sorry. What the fuck were people on? That's not recent, right? That's like woke 1.0. I have to be honest. Like that's such a strange thing to come out of your mouth. Like, I get it. I get what he's trying to do there, but like, that's a wild way to pander. Okay. You are the woker. And here's the problem with this stuff. Okay. He's obviously going to get fucking inundated with all of this stuff because he has a lot of moments like that. Yeah, he's going to get hit with the fucking clip, okay? We're talking belt fed, M60, bah, 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 bah. He's like, because he's doing like, he's going crazy mode in like the 2020s, peak woke. He's just like when someone asks me a question like that, you guys know it's I'm uncompromising in defending trans people. But if someone asked me that question, I'd be like, burgers. Like, I'm not even pandering. I'm just thinking about burgers. You know, what the fuck do you mean? How would that be top of mind? Like, I know there's a war. Mr. Hasan, what does the world hate you? I wouldn't say the world hates me. I would say that, unfortunately, we live in a very reactionary country, and therefore there are a lot of people who are reactionary and are going to hate what I talk about without trying to understand it. Anyway, but that's not what we're talking about. Okay, it's okay. Look, it's the thought that counts. No, I know. But here's the thing.
Something that you...
That's a crazy answer regardless, because like that's like what do you mean? Like that's always gonna be read weirdly. Even woke 1.0, that would have been read weirdly. Okay. But I will say, right now, yeah, this is Talarico. Woke 1 was crazy. A cis white man should not be the next speaker of the council. Stop sending this to me. White people should not be allowed to sit on stoops in Bed-Stuy. America deserved 9/11 will always be read weirdly. You want to take it back now? I mean, I have literally apologized for that a day after. So it doesn't really matter. You know what I mean? And which is it doesn't really matter, which is precisely the reason why you have to
Something that
which is precisely the reason why you have to just like focus on the shit that does matter. Okay? The shit that actually matters is what you're fighting for. Okay? And what you're fighting for should be Medicare for all, free college, federal jobs guarantee, stopping the bombs. Okay? Stopping endless militarism, senseless destruction all around the world, focusing on ourselves, America first, you know? Shit like that. So it doesn't even matter if people are saying this kind of thing, right? All you got to do is turn around and you know, get back to the meat and potatoes. Make them look silly. You understand? Make them look silly. Make their focus be this stuff. Who cares? Don't compromise on these issues either. You don't have to. Give people something to vote for.
love that's not family or friends.
I love, I'm just saying this because it's on my mind, the trans children who showed up yesterday at the state capitol to advocate for their humanity. They shouldn't have to, but it was an inspiration to watch.
Something.
Damn, they clip chimped him pretty hard. This makes it a little bit more understandable. It's still pandering. It's still woke one. But that, damn, they clipped the fuck out of our boy. Holy shit. Okay, it does sound way different in context. It's still pander, for the record. Come on. It's you know, it's pander, it's pander Pope over here. It's pander city. Still very different than I love trans children. End clip. And you blame people for doing the same thing to you? Well, here's the thing. My opinion on this has changed. Most people eat the clip chimp and then they never seek further. So if people were doing this, what we just did right now, right? Charitability and being invested in the truth and wanting to understand further what the context is and not just eating the fucking bait, okay? Then yeah, we would have way less problems in general. People never do that with someone like myself. As a matter of fact, when they see the context, they double down. I'm saying, as someone who is supportive of Talarico, he should not compromise on, defending trans adults, defending trans children, defending transgender people in general. And the best defense is a great offense. And the best offense is a comprehensive, multifaceted approach to all of the economic issues that Texans are facing, solutions to the economic problems that Texans are facing. Okay? You come out with a barrage of good policies that you are going to fight for when you are elected to the Senate, and people will look silly if they hyper focus on what you said about like transgender children or, you know, whatever the fucking clip compy barrage looks like. Do you understand what I'm saying? James Talarico needs to go 2021 Hasan pronto. Yes. I mean, he also needs to grow a beard for sure. I've already said this. He just looks too nerdy. I've said this already. He looks way too nerdy. He needs to look less nerdy. He looks kind of ridiculous. Yeah, I know. They're tying him to Al-Qaeda. It's disgusting. We'll talk about that in a second. Ted Cruz stayed neutral in the Texas Senate runoff, but he was a vital early supporter of Ken Paxton for AG. Backed him when he was more Country Club Republicans backed Dan Branch 2014, and Cruz was a freshman senator. The ads are still on YouTube. Not that it matters. This is before we knew what a fucking demonic entity Ken Paxton was. He can't grow a beard. It's his religion. Wait, what? Actually, are you guys fucking with me? I'll believe anything you tell me about Talarico because he's literally like a blank sheet of white paper for me. I just, light bounces off of him, both literally and figuratively. So yeah.
It's Texas. This is not.
Our southern border should be like our front porch. There should be a giant welcome mat out front.
This is
Oh my God, they clipped him on that too. But a lock on the door. Oh my God, Ken. Oh my God, Kenny Powers. Holy shit. Oh my God, dude. It is kind of funny watching the same techniques that have been deployed against me for my entire political commentary career play a formative role in American politics. This is at the fucking forefront. Everyone is rat fucking. Everyone's invested in hatchet jobs and rat fucking nowadays. It's not just like Roger Stone that used to do stuff like this and he was seen as like an outsider for that reason. Everyone does it now.
Texas. This is not.
It is now existential that we try to reduce our meat consumption. I am proud to say that our campaign has officially become a non-meat campaign.
This is Texas. This is not.
Radical Talarico, too low T for Texas. Ugh. Yeah, this dude needs to spend a week with me. I need to whip him up, get him into shape, okay? Get a couple videos of us pumping iron, eating big steaks, eating some barbecue. Wasn't he on the stream? No, he's not. He was supposed to be in the primaries. Yeah, send him 2-3 years to Dagestan, okay? Don't taint my vegan king. First of all, he's not vegan. There are so many photos of him wearing the fucking Texas shirt that I own as well, while eating fucking massive slabs of meat. And the campaign is not even remotely slick. Campaign's not even slick about it, too. They're just pumping that shit everywhere. Right? But yeah, if their argument against Talarico is that he's woke and gay, he's a woke gay libtard, he's not for Texas, and Talarico's argument is, hey, not only am I fucking Texas to the bone, but I also want every Texan to have health care, which argument's going to win out? Your policy pushing strats seems sound. Work with Mamdani, but you don't think the ops would just do the same thing they're doing to you? Run the fake rap sheet and clips to the ground. They're switching up to match the meta. No, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter that they're fucking running it to the ground. Because elections are about what politicians can do for you. Elections in America, unfortunately, are about who politicians are and how they represent themselves. Because everyone has given up on the idea that a politician is supposed to fight for your fucking values or fight for the betterment of your material conditions. So we got to get back to that, is my argument. We got to get back to the basics. Clips only matter if you're just your campaign is just hot air. Clips only matter if you are not defined by things you want to be defined by. Or rather, if the things you want to be defined by are, vague, generalized statements about how woke you're going to be, or the only policy that you want to put on the forefront of your economic agenda, like Kamala did, was $50,000 in tax credits for HBU graduates that work in fucking underserved neighborhoods right after graduation. If that's your fucking policy agenda, then yeah, no one is gonna vibe with that. Okay? You should not be afraid. I don't know why there are still people who are clearly afraid of
teaching,
of pushing the boundaries. Talarico every now and then comes out with statements like that make me appreciate him, ironically enough. But he is a part of the same group that McMorrow is a part of, majority Democrats. He's still a part of the same group that is looking to elect centrist candidates. So that scares me. That's my point. I'm being very fair about James Talarico. I think if James Talarico wants to fucking win, He has to come out with a bold, comprehensive vision for a change. He should be unafraid to shit on the Democrats, for example, which he has at times, and a lot of people were yelling at him. A lot of people were yelling at him in the primary for his criticisms of Joe Biden, for his criticisms of the Democratic Party. This is when he's supposed to criticize the Democratic Party. This is when he's supposed to fucking push the boundaries. Now in the Texas General, okay? There is a real opportunity here. There is a real opportunity for Talarico to win. Tally Hive going to come after you now? No, they're not. Tally Hive is like half of you guys are fucking Talarico supporters in Texas. What do you mean?
My principal told me that I was going to get this kid named Justin, who had gotten kicked out of his elementary school the year before because he had brought a knife to school and threatened to stab his 5th grade teacher. So I was, again, first-year teacher, kind of freaked out, right? The kid shows up. One, he's not a monster. He's an 11-year-old boy, right? Like this high, right? I took him aside, introduced myself, told him I was happy he was in class, told him I wanted to get to know him. He gradually started to raise his hand a little bit more in class. He was super smart, super just quick. He also had like a great smile. He's very popular with the girls in the class. A lot of personality. And I started to invite him to our little lunch group because I had kids who came and ate in my classroom during lunch. And we started to kind of build a rapport. And he didn't have a lot of male teachers, so I think that was helpful to see a guy as a teacher and be able to build a relationship with him. Anyway, right before winter break that year, it's the last day of school, he brought me this wrapped gift. The wrapping was all jankety, but I opened it up and it was this little cup with a snowflake on it that he had bought at the Dollar Tree for his teacher. Again, this is a kid who was going to stab his 5th grade teacher. A few months later, he's bringing a snowflake cup to his 6th grade teacher. And I was feeling like I was on top of the world as a teacher. I was like, who's going to make the movie, right? Like, here I am, right?
Sandra Bullock's going to play you in a movie.
Yeah, who's going to play me? And then I came back after winter break. I was in my 3rd period class, and I heard this commotion out in the hallway. So I immediately stepped out of the room to see what was going on. And there were 2 of our coaches, and they were both restraining Justin, either side of him. They were carrying him out of the school. He was screaming. His feet didn't touch the ground. Like he literally was just carried out of the school. I found out that he had started a fight in his 3rd grade class, and that was his last strike. And it was the last time I ever saw Justin. I did some digging to figure out what had happened. Turns out in the previous semester, Justin had been seeing a therapist that was provided by the school district. And it was this lady that he really was hitting it off with and getting along with. And they were going through all his issues because Justin had been abandoned by his mother at a very early age, which that'll screw anybody up, right? Justin had experienced violence, had experienced all this trauma. And so for the first time, there was a professional who was helping him work his way through it. And there was a teacher who liked him and who believed in him. And that was all it took for Justin to see all these improvements. And I found out that after winter break, that because of budget cuts from the legislature, the district had eliminated the therapist. So this lifeline suddenly went away for Justin. So literally everybody had abandoned Justin, including his own mother. And now the adults that he was trying to trust again were abandoning him. And so that was the kind of radicalizing experience for me, because these people at the state capitol had cut $5 billion from our schools. Who knows why? Who knows what the justifications were? But I saw firsthand how that screwed up a kid's life. I saw the damage that did to real flesh and blood human beings. And so I promised myself right then that if I ever got a little bit of power or a little bit of influence, that I would do everything I could with every fiber of my being to stop that from happening again. So literally Justin and my students are the ones I think about when I'm at the Capitol. They are the criteria that I use to evaluate public policy, not if it's a Democratic bill or Republican bill, not if it's going to get me, ex-lobbyist support. It is, will this help my students or will it hurt my students? Period. And it makes things a lot easier. I have a picture of one of my class periods on my desk at the Capitol. So that is what got me into this whole mess. I miss being a teacher because I miss having that immediate impact. All the impact I make now, if I make any impact at all, feels very diffuse and far away. because there's all these layers.
Yeah.
But I like to think that some of the bills I'm passing are at least helping teachers like me and students like mine.
John Schwartz says, I don't have any feelings about James Talarico, but it's interesting to see him telling a story which, one, by far the most effective way for politicians to communicate, and two, something most Democrats refuse to do on principle. I mean, dude, that's 4 minutes and 28 seconds of James Talarico talking to Joe Rogan, and Joe Rogan never actually fucking interrupts the conversation to be like, but what about the kitty litter that your children were shitting on? You know? That's the whole point, right? So, here's the thing. I wish I fully believed him, but he doesn't support Medicare for all, so the story pisses me off. I know. That's the issue with Talarico, or also known as Talafrico. All right. Talafrico has really positive qualities. People complain about Plattner becoming Fetterman, but isn't James more likely? Yes. Talarico has some interesting qualities. I don't like how he goes 80% of the way, but then like the last 20% is just like cookie cutter, straight up establishment liberal bullshit. Like he is almost like a better Pete Buttigieg in some ways because he has the background and he also has like moved in a certain way in the state legislature as well. So he has that background and he has that experience of being somewhat of a progressive fighter. But he does do this thing that Pete Buttigieg does as well, which is to say the right words or to communicate effectively, but never say anything really at all that's all that different from the rest of the Democratic Party. And I don't like that at all. He's more palatable because there is a level of sincerity backing his statements, especially with his experience as well. But I am very untrustworthy. I am not very trusting of candidates like that. I've been burned many, many times over. Okay? If you were to give me the James Talarico campaign, the things I would do are as follows. Number one, and this is order of priority. Before we even put the fucking policies in the bag, before we even fix the policies, get minoxidil and put it all over your face so you can grow a thicker beard. Okay? That's number one. Straight up. You have to stop looking like Alfred E. Newman, which is what Donald Trump is calling him. Like low-key, he kind of does look like that. He has too much of like Mormon face somehow. I don't know how else to describe it. He looks like Moral Oral, right? You got to look like a chud and think like a woke. We've already established that. So that's number one. Number two, which ironically enough, Pete Buttigieg has taken my advice on this. He is doing this, but that's besides the point. Okay. So that's number one. That's the first thing, first order of priority. Number two, go back to the fucking policy agenda and immediately put forward a comprehensive, bold, radical vision for change. Don't shy away from criticizing the Democratic Party. Show the rest of Texas that you're a different kind of Democrat, not the type of Democrat that they're used to. This will also draw a lot of enmity from the institutional Democrats and the party itself. That's really good for you. You're in Texas. The more Chuck Schumer complains about you saying shit about Israel, the better it is for you in Texas. And before people say, oh my God, it's Texas, people love Israel in Texas, wrong. Okay? Wrong. You're wrong about that. It's not true. There is no place in the United States of America where the overwhelming majority are pro-Israel. Not amongst the independents. No way, Jose. You understand? Doesn't exist. Nope, doesn't matter. Evangelicals as well. It doesn't matter. The people that like Israel are already voting for the Republicans. The only group in this country that loves Israel unconditionally and wants to vote for Israel or pro-Israel candidates in this country are already lifelong Republican Party voters. They're already voting for the Republicans. You're not winning those guys over. They're fucking insane. They're a part of the MAGA cult. They're fucking insane. They've never voted for a Democrat, and they will never vote for a Democrat. Drop that shit, okay? You are conceding to no one. You will not get a single fucking voter in the state of goddamn Texas for having a middle-of-the-road approach to Israel, okay? Not a single fucking voter. You will not earn a single voter. I must repeat this. However, you will draw a lot of ire from the likes of Chuck Schumer, from all of the bicoastal elite, smug Israel first Democrats. And you know what? Those are some of the least popular Democrats all around the country, and especially in the state of Texas. So getting people to yell at you from the rest of the Democratic Party is a good thing here, because these are the Democrats that Texans fucking hate. You get to show that you are sometimes unafraid to fight back against your own party in a good way. Democrats show this in the worst ways possible. Democrats think if you're in a fucking red state and you want to show that you're pragmatic or you're a heterodox type of Democrat in a red state, that you're invested in tax credits or deregulation, the deregulatory agenda. That's fucking stupid. There is already a 90-10 issue in the base. There's already an issue in Israel that you can actually draw a lot more support from independents on, and you'll piss off the worst fucking Democrats out there. It's a fantastic opportunity. Seize on it. Okay? Same with Medicare for all. It's not just Israel, but it's a lot of this stuff. Like Medicare for all is a bold, populist, left flank attack that will, again, draw a lot of ire and a lot of enmity from some of the least popular groups. The problem with James Talarico, unfortunately, is that he's backed by those groups, right? Those groups are backing him. Let's be real. The majority Dems are the same groups that are pushing for Mallory McMorrow are also pushing for James Talarico. And that's a problem. He's got Liz Smith in the corner. I don't think he's going to change some of that strategy. But that's definitely what I would do. Because remember, the best defense is a perfect offense. And the more you go on the offense, and I don't mean like attack Ken Paxton. You should definitely do that, but that's not what I'm talking about. The best defense is a aggressive offense, and the most aggressive posture offensively that you can engage in politics is having a clear-cut policy-backed agenda that people can attach themselves to, people can identify with, people want. Okay? That's it. What caused Kamala Harris to lose was that she did not have a comprehensive vision for change at a time when people were looking for change in this country. And they proved that they were looking for change by voting for Donald Trump. Okay, he was the change candidate somehow. It's ridiculous, but it's true. Kamala Harris did not have a clear-cut agenda that she was defined by, so her opposition defined her for her. That's the reason why they were able to define her as like, oh, Kamala Harris is for they, them, not you, right? Anti-war, fix the potholes, fix the ISPs, Medicare for all, free college for all. These are things that we can do, but for far too long, we focused all of our efforts on waging unnecessary wars. You say that, a lot of Texans are going to fucking believe in you. You say that, a lot of Texans are going to agree with you. Just say that, please. Please. It's okay to ruffle some goddamn feathers, all right?
To respond or clarify.
Here, let's look at the barrage. They're emptying out the motherfucking clip on them.
In 2021, in a speech during debate over transgender issues, you said, God is non-binary. What did you mean by that?
Well, I think I was being intentionally provocative with that statement. But what it means is that God can't be defined by human categories. The Apostle Paul, in his letter to the Galatians, says that in Christ there is neither male nor female. I'm always going to stand up for Texans who are being picked on by the most powerful, most corrupt politicians in the country. And I'm going to continue doing that in this race and hopefully in the U.S. Senate.
You call it intentionally provocative. Do you regret describing it that way or talking about God that way?
No. Say no.
There are some statements that I've made that
Say no. Double down. Double down. KFC double down. Be like, no, man, I'm a fucking pastor. What, you don't like it? I'm a goddamn pastor. I'm a fucking priest. I'm an educator. Why are we having a theological discourse right now with people who are the least godly motherfuckers I've ever seen in my entire life? You think Ken Paxton is close to God? I'm a fucking pastor. It's in the Bible. Or a minister, whatever. It doesn't matter. Whatever, some fucking religious thing. Isn't he something? He's something, right? He's like he's a priest. Is that the right term? I don't fucking know this Christian stuff, okay? Yeah. He's a Presbyterian. Okay, whatever. Whatever. There is no reason for you to apologize for things that you have done that are not wrong, things that you believe, okay? Because guess what? We say a million different things every single day. And if you believe this, then you shouldn't apologize for saying it because there's going to be other instances where they'll hit you on that. And then you look wishy-washy and hypocritical and silly and stupid.
That I certainly regret. There are statements that I've made where I've missed the mark. I'll be the first to admit that. But Ken Paxton is intentionally clipping my cringy comments to distract from his career of corruption.
Okay, that's not bad. Good. All right, good. He flipped it back. All right.
Ken Paxton has a criminal record. I have a legislative record. I've served for 4 terms in the Texas House of...
That's also a good line. Damn, okay. Swagarico. I've got a legislative record. He's got a criminal record. Hell, okay, I like it. Okay. Can you fix him? He needs to fucking grow a beard. This is not working. I've said this before. Look. You know how black people don't fuck with Pete Buttigieg no matter what? And it's not even because he was like a fucking small town mayor where, the police chief did some fucked up shit. Like, there's something untrustworthy, I think, that I have seen in a similar vein with the way that James Talarico operates that make black people go, I don't know about this guy. Okay? And I trust that instinct. There's something about it. And even if I didn't trust that instinct, you still have to lean into that. You still have to lean into that skepticism that exists out there and you have to fix it. Okay? Pull up the picture of him with the edited hair. I already, didn't I show it? Wasn't it here somewhere? No, I guess we yeeted it. Maybe not a full beard, but stubble has to be prominent for sure. He's too white. Okay? He too white, and I'm a black person who likes white guys. That's what I mean. He is. He's like, yeah, this is like, this helps a little bit, I think. I think like this is not like all the way there, but it definitely helps. You know how I've always said Pete Buttigieg, Mitt Romney, and JD Vance have the vibes of a guy that the middle of the country knows very well. When those guys come into town, your coal mine's shutting down. When those guys come into your town, they're eliminating redundancies. Consultant guys, right? James Talarico has a little bit of that, even though he's not that at all, right? Y'all want him to be Cuban? I just want him to not be so pasty. No disrespect. Beard help Ezra Klein a bit too? Oh, for sure. Do the Hasanabi look. Scruff on the sides, mustache, grow out the mustache, scruffy beard. 5 o'clock shadow with the mustache, even better than this. He's got to change the hair too, honestly. I don't know about the low taper fade or whatever, but like, new attack ad by Talarico.
Remind us all, what is Attorney General Paxton accused of doing?
The list is really long.
Bribery, dereliction of duty, obstruction of justice,
and conspiracy. A majority of Texas House Republicans voted to impeach one of their own.
60 Republicans voting in favor. Allegations he abused his office to benefit himself and a major donor who allegedly paid for his home renovations and even helped him cover up an affair.
They claim the AG.
You want him to look like Paul Wall? Buddy, Paul Wall is one of the most beloved white guys of all time in the black community. What are you talking about? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. The answer is yes.
Used secret email accounts, burner phones, and a fake Uber account to see his mistress.
Paxton is a repugnant character. He's always been on the edge of sort of criminal activity.
3 felony fraud charges which have lingered for 9 long years.
And in between it all, the state's top attorney had a mugshot.
There are calls for Ken Paxton to step down.
Ken Paxton is an extremely flawed candidate, and I sense the worst is yet to come about his background.
Yeah, you can do a power hour on Republicans in the state that have shitted on him. Okay, shitted and farted on him. Ken Paxton is so unbelievably weak, bro. He better than Paul Dano and There Will Be Blood. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like that's what I'm talking about. You got to not look like this. You got to move away from looking like that. Do a stream with Talarico shopping for girls from Johnny Dang. He needs to campaign with and speak of Representative Haynes Church. Haynes, who has replaced Crockett in the House. Yeah, this is my goat. Frederick Haynes is probably one of the candidates I'm most excited about. Justice Democrat as well. He is incredible. This look at the date, October 8th, 2023. I've shown this before. The night that Jasmine Crockett lost, I was like, wow, it's like God. God came in and intervened in this election, okay? This is the unbelievable upgrade that we're getting in Texas to replace Jasmine Crockett with this gem.
Because I recognize that we got to be pro-Israel. Yeah, we got to do that. Or we get in trouble. Because I recognize that we got to be pro-Israel. Yeah, we got to do that. Or we get in trouble. Well, I'm coming to get in trouble. Israel, and I'm going to quote Jim.
Jasmine Crockett was at this sermon, by the way, and she was not listening to anything my man was saying, okay?
Jimmy Carter says that Israel is engaging in apartheid with Palestinians.
I love that he's apartheid.
The Palestinians who don't have the weaponry of Israel, the Palestinians don't have the financial backing from the United States that Israel has. And so they throw their rocks and shoot their arrows, and Israel is able to bomb them and kill them. Watch in the news the disparity between Palestinians being killed and Israelis being killed. It is totally unfair, but this country's going to stand on the side of apartheid because that's its track record. It stood by apartheid in South Africa because it created apartheid in this country.
Dude, come on. Come on, dude. God, he's so fucking dope. Oh my God, he's so fucking sick. He's so dope. He's like the opposite of the young guy who just unseated Al Green. He had a really good one on Charlie Kirk too. This man is a weapon, okay? I need you to understand. This man, if things went right, he would be president one day. He should be president one day. No, it's not Jeremiah Wright. This is what he said after Charlie Kirk, political violence. I'm not going to get into it again. We've already run the clip copy before on this broadcast, okay? I love him. And also, from what I understand, Yes, he is a righteous weapon. A weapon to wield by the righteous. But he is incredible. I hope he doesn't get hit with the radical liberal Raphael Warnock ray. I do worry about that a little bit. That was worse than black scent. It's not black scent. It's just Southern preacher scent. I can't do a black preacher voice. I'm too woke for that. You can't catch me. All right. We're not going to watch the Charlie Kirk one. Anyway, who knows? Who knows how he will carry himself and you know what kind of campaigning he'll do. But if he keeps that energy, oh my Lord, dude. Apparently he's a legend in his community as well.
Representatives, where I brought Democrats and independents together to actually make progress for people. I brought Republican legislators and Democratic legislators together to cut property taxes, to raise teacher pay, to lower the cost of housing and childcare and prescription drugs. I've passed more than 60 bipartisan bills as a legislator. I've also called out the extremes in both parties, on the left and the right. I have called out Ken Paxton for his blatant corruption, but I also called out President Biden for failing to secure our southern border. So,
and I want to get to the border in a second. Let me run one more by you because again, the president, other Republicans are already bringing it up. Again in 2021.
Yeah, God, this is the type of stuff that I just don't like. Like this is a person that is speaking to what he thinks is the right audience. And whenever I start hearing that like focus tested messaging, I check out because it seems insincere. I don't know if like the average voter actually hears that and also thinks it's insincere, but I wish that, like, you know what's better than this? Having conviction. When I start hearing DNC consultants speak, immediately I'm like worried. I'm very, very, very worried. Right? What is this saying? Talarico is not supported by black people because it doesn't appeal to black swagger and black instinct. No, there is a skepticism with the likes of Pete Buttigieg and stuff, no matter how hard they try, where black people don't fuck with Pete Buttigieg. Okay? Like, I don't know why you got all weird and orientalist with it. You have to remember that Talarico had to navigate the Republican majority in Texas legislature to get anything done. He's currently coded that way. They've been crashing out in chat for like 10 minutes. Oh, they have been? I haven't noticed what Aphex Twizzy is saying. You're saying Talarico is failing with black voters because he doesn't put on an act. You are saying he needs to? No, I think he needs to have more swag for sure. I mean, it's campaign. Yeah, optics do matter. The right kind of optics matter, though. I'm giving you an example of the wrong kind of optics, the wrong kind of performance, which is being wishy-washy, middle of the road on certain issues, and not doing the right kind of optics, which is to change your look a little bit. Okay? And it's not just black people necessarily. I'm just saying that, like, I'm using Pete Buttigieg as a launching pad to say like why certain people look at, like you dead ass said, chains and grills, bro. Okay, just stop, dude. That's what is known as a fucking joke. I don't think he has to wear fucking chains and grills, dumbass. That part is a joke. I thought you could discern between what's fucking a joke and what's not. Jesus Christ. Yeah, he needs to put on a do-rag, dude. Yeah, why do I fucking need haters when I got long-term community members who are like, wow, I can't believe you want him to do blackface. Like, yeah, that's what I genuinely, sincerely am advocating for. This is Woke One remnants coming back into the chat. Hasan, I have government overreach. I hope they stop messing with you. Best of luck. Love from a lurker. Thank you, chatter.
While debating
You hate government overreach, right?
a bill that restricted transgender student athletes, you said modern science acknowledges 6 biological variations based on chromosomes to argue that sex is a nuanced spectrum, not a strict binary. Do you still believe there are 6 biological sexes?
I know there are 2 sexes, men and women. I also know there's a very small percentage of people who have these chromosomal abnormalities, and I believe they deserve to be treated with dignity and respect.
Good answer. Good answer. Good answer. Not bad. Not bad. This is a tricky subject, even if you're not fucking running for office. That's why the Biden answer was the funniest and perhaps the best, where he's like, at least 3. You've never once guessed correctly about the joke discernment is Autism 1.0 and there are no upcoming updates in the firmware. I'm afraid we're running this patch for the foreseeable future. Yeah, it's fine. At least 3. There's no good answer to this question. Okay? The best possible answer is, dude, just let people live. Okay? That's like, I know some people get mad. People who are up to date with like the latest trans technology, for example, they'll be like, what are you talking about? Like, we've poured through the data. Here's the right answer. And then like a couple months later, there's a new version of it. It's updated patch notes. And it's like, just if you're running for office, like the best possible answer to give to that question is, look, I just want people to live free. Okay. I want people to live their best lives. That's it. I don't want to intervene in their affairs. I feel like that's un-American. And I feel like that's not the Texas method either. I care about what's inside. Okay. I care about protecting my neighbors and what's inside. All right. I'm not going to spend any time trying to tell people what they can and can't do. That's goddamn libtard communism, brother. Okay. What is this, a communist country? I didn't think so. I thought this was Texas we're talking about. Yee. You know?
The other one they keep harping on, and it's perhaps the most curious of all, they say you're a vegan.
I'm not a vegan. I'm an 8th generation Texan. I've been eating barbecue since before Ken Paxton's first indictment.
That's even better, I think. Even better with a mullet. Oh my God. Like a little bit of a mullet. Oh, damn.
And this campaign basically runs on Texas barbecue. If all they have is lying about me being a vegan, I feel pretty good about our chances this November.
Ken Paxton is taken to calling you Talarico. That's awesome. Talarico.
Ken Paxton, your opponent, has taken to calling you Talarico.
Well, I think if Ken Paxton is worried about freaks, he should stop giving Epstein-style sweetheart deals to pedophiles.
Oh! True. It's like, dude, that's an attack ad in and of itself to be like, are you safe? Do you feel safer in the state of Texas with Ken Paxton as your attorney general? Here are the pedophiles that he has released back into the fucking wild. Okay? That's another great one. See, he has gems, okay? Gem alert. He has moments. He has moments where I'm like, that's great. Yeah, the Texas Senate race basically hinges on how much people know about this case by the time they vote. Yeah, straight up.
This is the guy who just released Adam Hoffman from jail, an admitted child rapist, after one of Ken Paxton's wealthy lawyer friends got involved in the case. Ken Paxton even kept him off the sex offender registry. Adam Hoffman was supposed to serve 25 years to life, but instead he served less than a month. As of this week, he's now back on our streets because of Ken Paxton's corruption. Ken Paxton is the most corrupt politician in America, and it is costing Texans. It's endangering our children, and it must end. I think the Epstein class has no place in Texas.
And this November, we're going to come together to defeat Ken Paxton and take back our state for the people.
Ken Paxton.
Great take. No notes. Absolutely fucking goated. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah. Ken Paxton loves pedophiles. What the fuck is up with that? That's it. Just run that. Run that into the goddamn ground. Run that until everyone only associates the name Ken Paxton with early release for pedophiles. That's it. Oh, yeah. Speaking of good Dem rhetoric on trans kids is Tom Steyer.
You talked about
billionaire speaks fluent woke. Shocks the world. Okay.
Trans people. I'm totally in favor of trans athletes in high school. I think when you understand the vulnerability, the stress, the danger of being a trans kid, and you understand that almost half of them try to commit suicide.
Yeah.
And then you think we're going to punish those kids. We're going to cut them off from team sports. We're going to cut them off from participating in the community. We're going to cut them off from fun. It's like, no, we're not. No, we're not. And, you know, as someone who played sports my whole life and loves sports and love playing sports, there are more important things than whether you start on your high school basketball team. And that is standing up for people who are under threat of death. You talked about trans.
Dude, come on. Come on. Fluent woke, dude. You know what I'm talking about? That's that swagged out white boy. It's good. It shows courage. It shows conviction. Okay? This is important. This is what matters. It doesn't matter if you don't fucking agree with it. Okay? Bank like a chud, think like a woke, talk like a woke. Appreciating answers that aren't focus tested. Jesus fucking Christ is refreshing. Yeah. Norway joins France's nuclear deterrence club. Nice. Okay. So yeah, let's get back to this fucking psychopath. I mean, he has a laundry list of crimes. By the way, just straight up crimes. Not even just, not on some exaggerating shit, just an actual criminal who is the Attorney General of the state of Texas.
2020 election, a quote, true MAGA warrior, and calling Cornyn now disloyal. It's now the fourth time in less than a month that the president has put his thumb on the scale in a primary to oust a Republican. Cornyn, though, was not disloyal to President Trump in the Senate and was largely supportive. Paxton, for his part, has had a series of scandals that he has survived, including a push from his own Texas Republicans to impeach him over accusations of infidelity and corruption. He's denied any wrongdoing. He was later acquitted in the state Senate. But there were some Republicans who were angry with this choice by Trump, concerned that it could put this critical Senate seat in play and give an opening to the Democratic challenger here, James Talarico, who this morning is already courting Cornyn voters and trying to flip that Senate seat blue for the first time in more than 3 decades, George.
And Jay, the Democrats got another boost yesterday in the redistricting battles.
A significant win and a setback for President Trump and his push.
He's also unbelievably busted. He is so fucking chopped. Ken Paxton is so chopped, dude. I think that's gotta play for something, right? That's gotta mean something in the race. Come on now. He's both busted inside and outside. No redeemable qualities.
Push to redraw congressional districts to benefit Republicans in Alabama. A federal court blocking that state from instituting new congressional maps that would eliminate one of 2 majority black congressional districts in that state. The state has vowed to appeal. And in South Carolina, Republicans defying that push of Trump's to redistrict and eliminate the state's only majority black congressional district, which has long been represented by Democratic Congressman Jim Clyburn. George.
Jay O'Brien, thanks.
This is the first time you've joined us where you know who you'll be running against in November. Is this the campaign you wanted? Talarico versus Paxton. Is this the opponent you wanted out of this Republican primary?
This is an attractive politician.
Well, Ken Paxton embodies the broken political system that we're running against. He is the most corrupt politician in America. 3 years ago tomorrow, he was impeached by his own party for using his public office, his position of public trust, to enrich himself and his donors at our expense. And that is exactly the problem in our politics. It's puppet politicians who serve themselves and their billionaire mega donors instead of serving us. It's why we can't afford anything. It's why we can't get ahead no matter how hard we work. The system is rigged by corrupt politicians like Ken Paxton. And so it's going to be all of us. It's going to be Democrats, independents, and Republicans. It's going to be urban Texans, rural Texans, suburban Texans. It's going to be all of us coming together, the people versus Ken Paxton.
Let's listen to what Ken Paxton had to say about you tonight. And I have to tell you, I don't know if you've heard this already, but he spent a good deal of his victory speech tonight talking just about you. Here's what he had to say about you.
Yeah, that also isn't a bad thing. That means that he's worried, right?
My opponent is the most extreme radical the Democrats have ever nominated. He's even running a vegan campaign, whatever that is. He goes by a few names that you may all have heard of. Some people know him as Tofu Talarico. Some people call him Six-Gender Jimmy. I've even
Damn, she nutted, bro. Look at her face. She's like, oh, can he say that? Is he allowed to say that? Look at her face.
Six-Gender Jimmy.
They love the Barbaras and the Debras and the Jedediahs fucking went crazy for that. Like, damn. Absolute zinger. 6 genders? That's too many genders.
I've even heard some people call him James Talarico. And others refer to him.
Oh, wow. We heard it. You can hear her go, oh, wow. Oh, bruh. I am working surrounded by women like this. Oh, my God. Some of the most vicious. Talarico's 37 and not married. He says he has a girlfriend. He called her his best friend. He's not revealing her identity because he wants to protect her privacy. Why haven't we ever seen her before? Yeah, I think it's understandable. But of course, Jesse Waters is like, let me see your girlfriend. Let me see your girlfriend right now. What kind of car does she drive? What's the tire pressure looking like? I don't think you're right about the facial hair. Stupid.
Simply as Low T Talarico.
Low T Talarico. Brother, I'm going to be honest. I guess this is an advantage for Talarico as well. That like Ken Paxton also sounds unbelievably low T. So it's kind of funny that he's like, you know what he is? Actually, Low T Talarico. I'm being dangerous. It's so stupid. The woman who made that face is my cousin, says the orb lady. Oh my God. I'm sorry to hear that.
What you call him, let me tell you this. James Talarico is a threat to everything we hold dear in this state and in this country. He's a threat to our security and our safety. He wants open borders and even said a welcome mat should be at our southern border. He's a threat to our children. He wants boys and girls sports, gender mutilation surgery performed on kids. And when asked what he loved outside of his family and friends, you heard what Brandon Gill said. His first answer was trans kids. That's weird, and that's a radical guy. He's a threat to our prosperity and Texas economy. He said you can't be a Christian if you support the oil and gas industries. He wants to raise your taxes, and he won't do a single thing to lower costs for you and your family. And finally, he's a threat to our very way of life and our values. I mean, he's a vegan who thinks God is non-binary and that there's actually 6 biological sexes. It's hard to imagine someone more radical than that. No matter what he says or how much he raises, the reality is that James Talarico is going to be nothing more than a Texas-based puppet for Chuck Schumer and the National Democrats.
See, this is why I said, if James Talarico came out and was like, yo, Israel sucks, and then boom, Chuck Schumer's like, why are you saying that? All of a sudden, like, these are unbelievably unpopular people, especially in Texas, but all around the country. Use that to your advantage. Draw some enmity from the rest of the party. Show that you're a heterodox kind of Democrat. You're not a normal kind of Democrat, right? Right? Those people yelling at you, those people in Washington, D.C. yelling at you or not showing you support is not a bad thing. It's a good thing. Yeah, by the way, it is very funny that that Ken Paxton is like, oh, James Talarico is a threat to our children. Brother, you just every other week you're releasing another pedophile. Like, what are you talking about? There hasn't been a pedophile that you were like, we should keep this one behind bars yet. And you're out here being like, that's not a threat. That's not a threat to your children. The pedophiles that I have released into the public, into the wild, without even having them get on the sex offender registry. That's not a threat to your kids. James Talarico is? Okay, buddy. Sure.
That is it. That is, as of tonight, the Paxton campaign against you. What is your equal time response to that?
Child rapists with the Attorney General on their case is a Republican.
Ken Paxton is morally unfit for office. He'll lie to you with a straight face. He's failed the character test. He's the most corrupt Attorney General of our lifetime. And he puts the interests of himself over the laws of Texas. Those aren't my words. Those are the words of Ken Paxton's fellow Republicans.
True. Bars. It's true. God, Ken Paxton is, oh my God. Dude, Ken Paxton has a laundry list of crimes and an even longer list of Republicans that despise him in the fucking state.
Working Texans, Democrats, independents, and Republicans alike are going to come together to defeat the most corrupt politician in America and the broken political system that he represents.
So he's going after you in very personal terms. He's calling you, he's got names for you that we just heard. I don't want to repeat some of those. But obviously, he's going to spend a great deal of his time talking about you and transgender issues and children. What do you want Texas voters to understand about that?
Well, this is how puppet politicians like Ken Paxton stay in power. You know, he's spent his entire career selling us out for his donors. And that, I think, is going to be apparent to Texans over the course of this race. And so the only way he's going to hold on to power is through distraction and division. This is the oldest strategy in the world, divide and conquer. They divide us by party, by race, by gender, by religion, by all this culture war stuff. So we don't notice that they're picking our pockets, that they are closing our public schools all over Texas. They are gutting our healthcare, raising our premiums for Texans all over the state. And they are raising taxes on all of us while they cut taxes for themselves. And so I think Texans see through this game. They realize that we're being pitted against each other with these old, tired culture war fights so that corrupt politicians like Ken Paxton can hold on to power and continue to enrich themselves and their billionaire mega donors.
What about Texas voters who want to know from you on this particular issue? Is Ken Paxton...
Why is he doing an Obama impression? I don't know, dude. That's what every fucking politician does.
Paxton telling the truth about you in relation to these issues, especially involving what he was just talking about there, transgender issues involving children?
No, Ken Paxton is clipping comments, taking them out of context to try to paint a picture, trying to paint me as someone I'm not. You know, Ken Paxton has a criminal record. I have a legislative record over 4 terms in the Texas House of Representatives, where I've brought Democrats and Republicans together to pass more than 60 bipartisan bills to cut property taxes, to raise teacher pay, to lower the cost of housing, prescription drugs, and child care across Texas. And I'm going to put that record up against Ken Paxton's criminal record any day of the week, twice on Sunday. I've called out the extremes in both parties, on the right and the left. You know, I've called out Ken Paxton for his blatant illegal corruption, but I also called out President Biden when he failed to secure our southern border. So I'm not interested in going to Washington, D.C. to serve one political party. I'm going to Washington, D.C. to serve the people of Texas. That's the exact opposite of what Ken Paxton does. He serves himself and his billionaire mega donors at the expense.
He's just the Andy Bashar carbon copy? I don't think so. Was Biden actually all that bad on the border? No, but it doesn't matter. You can't even say that. Everyone will yell at you. He was bad on the border, but not for the reasons that you think he was. Okay? The reason why he was bad on the border is because he didn't actually create a fucking expedited process, allow for amnesty to take place for existing migrants on U.S. soil, and fund the court system that would allow people to come in and seek asylum and be able to work on U.S. soil without any other infractions. Because the current way that the immigration structure exists was burdensome. And is still burdensome, where immigrants come in, they're not allowed to fucking work. They have to rely on tax dollars to go and like stay at hotels or whatever. They were also shipped to other parts of the country in an effort to make the system brick, and it did. It successfully broke the existing immigration processing system anyway. And Biden didn't do anything about it. He should have prosecuted the governor of Texas and the governor of Florida, Ron DeSantis and Abbott. Like, he should have literally prosecuted them for human trafficking, right? He didn't do that shit either. And he ate the consequences.
Of the people of this state.
You just heard Ken Paxton say that you are for open borders. What's your response to that?
I just told you that they were, clipping things that I've said.
See, I'm telling you, they're making fun of his looks. I mean, this is a losing argument regardless, but, it is one area, I guess, that they've foresee as an area of weakness.
So take it away.
Correction, it's Talarico.
Okay.
And they nominated someone more effeminate than Beto, and I can't wait for this race to get underway. Did you know that he looks prepubescent?
These are the notes you took?
Did you know that he looks like the guy that leaves an apple on the teacher's desk? That's this guy. Now, the major factor in this race, Greg, is whether Talarico's vegan.
So take it away.
Talarico is a cool name. I don't think that's a bad name, but yeah, here is Jesse Waters being a whole ass freak again, talking about how Talarico doesn't have a girlfriend.
He's also 37 and not married.
Okay. He's like, oh, I don't believe you have a girlfriend. Thank you. Dude. That's your next Democratic senator from the state of Texas. This is what I was saying. Look like a woke, or look like a chud, think like a woke. Look like a chud, act like a woke. Look like a chud, act like a chud, talk like a woke. Think like a woke. I'm telling you, he looks like a cop. Who cares? The fuck? What are you talking about? He looks like a cop? That's great. That's great. The more cop-like he looks, the better. What are you talking? It's not even just for Texas, for anywhere. That juxtaposition is why your boy is as successful as he is. Look at me. Look at the way I carry myself. And look at the way I look. And then look at the way I think and look at the way I talk. I am the fucking prototype. The reason why so many people on the effete hyper woke left despise me from the start is because I sound like a bro and I look like a bro. Okay? And they can't get over that. But that's actually good. Okay? That's a good thing. The more the more not palpable I am to the hyper woke crowd because I'm too manly or whatever the fuck, or too bro-y, right? Too much like a frat bro, the better it is for the average person. It's not like I'm saying compromise on your values. I never have, and I never will. Unc, I'm incapable of growing a beard. I'm never going to be a chud. No, there's ways that you can do it. You got too much of a chip on your shoulder. We all know if you were in the same spot, they'd be bringing up your super woke photos with your fedora. It don't matter. Who gives a fuck? Look at how I look now. People are voting right now. Who gives a shit?
Let's get into this. He says just recently that he has a girlfriend and they've been together for 4 years. And he called her his best friend. And she was his rock. And he's not revealing her identity because he wants to respect her privacy and keep her safe during the campaign.
Does she live in Canada?
Now, if the campaign has only been going on for less than a year and they've been dating for 4 years, why haven't we ever seen this woman before?
Yeah, Jesse Watt's like, I need to see your girlfriend. Show me your girlfriend. It's not weird. I just need to see it. Come on, show me your girlfriend, please. I would like to see how sexy she is.
Basically, what I'm saying is this: she exists. We're going to find out, because if he wins, are they going to have a coming out party? Or is she still going to stay the secret girlfriend? And is this totally not fake girlfriend also a vegan? This race, this is a great race to cover.
So, Harold, I'm willing to bet.
It's just in the beginning. It's fine. Get this dude off my screen. Shut up. Hold on. I'm working on something right now. Okay, I got